Okay, we finished the human algorithm, ready to go ahead and do the flowchart. I've already pre-built a lot of the portions of the flowchart because by now you should know how to be able to copy and paste from the human algorithm into the different parts. One thing I wanted to show you is that for the living location, what you want to make sure that you do, whoops, um, is notice I have a question, where does your pet reside? But there's more to it than that. I have inside, outside. Whenever you want a person to type in something specific, like dog or inside, your prompt should say what you want them to type in. So they don't type in, they might say, instead of where does your pet reside, they might say my home, and that doesn't match anything. So we don't want to have that happen. Same thing with the pet type. So I ask them what pet type they have, and they type in golden retriever. Well, that's not going to match dog, so I have to tell them cat or dog. So you want to make sure that you always do that. And then for the output, I added a label of human year equivalent with the human year. So other than that, everything else is the same. I have all these, but I haven't put the decisions in yet, because that's the next important part. All right, so we have pet type equals dog. So after my first input, I will put in a decision, an if condition, and I'm just going to copy pet type equals dog because, again, the if is what the diamond represents, so I don't put that in there or it will give me an error. It's like if. Okay, so if the pet type equals dog, I don't put an assignment in there, but I put another decision. So I'm going to have to put another decision here. And this one is going to be living location inside. So again, I copy just the two things I wanted to compare and how I wanted to compare them. All right, and then if it's true that it's a dog living inside, then I'm going to do the inside dog rate. If it's not true that it's inside, but it is a dog, then it's the outside dog rate. And if we move over to the other side and say, well, if it's not a dog, meaning that it's a cat, then I have to make a decision. All right, so the decision is going to be, I'll just go ahead and put it in. And that is going to be if living inside. So, there is something without a space. So I fixed that before I go ahead and copy and paste. But that's another thing that we do when we're doing a human algorithm, a flowchart, is that we're able to test to make sure that our human algorithm is 100% correct. So if I had left that space in there and then tested it, in fact, let's go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and put a space in there to, even though I fixed it over here, I'm going to keep it broken over here so we can see what happens. All right, and then if it's not a dog and it's inside, then it's an inside cat. And if it's not a dog and it's not inside, then it's an outside cat. All right. Let's go ahead and... All right, and then I have this last math already in it. So let's go ahead and expand it. You can see it's pretty big. They're going to keep getting bigger and bigger. All right, so I have all the different parts to it now. I can go ahead and test it. So I hit play. Come on. And then I say the age is 10 years. And where does your pet reside? And it resides, let's say, just say in quotes, inside. Remember, I have to put quotes in Visual Logic to let it know it's text. And then I'll do dog. And it's 60. So we know that the inside dog rate is 6. 6 times 10 is 60. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and test the cat side real quick. I should test it 4 times, but for time's sake, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so where is it? I'm going to say also inside. And this time I'm going to say it's a cat. And then it gives me this error message. So it says error in evaluating condition expression. So they don't give you very good, a condition is this. So we know that the error is somewhere in that. And we look and we say, oh, there's a space. All right, so I go ahead and hit the stop button up here rather than going through all the error messages coming up. And then I fix this by taking out the space, and then I rerun it. And then I say 10 inside cat, and the human year is 70. So it's the multiplier is 7 times 10. So we see that's working also. So now that we know it's working, now we're ready to go ahead and code it. So we open up HTML kit, and I go back to my human algorithm, and we're ready to go ahead and code. So I go ahead and add my JavaScript tags. Oops, added it twice. So let's get rid of this inside ones. I'm impatient. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is copy and paste my human algorithm into my code. Okay. Now I have to JavaScript size. So the first thing I need is my blank places in memory, my vars. Oops, not bars. My var, and that's going to be all my input and then all my associations. So I have 5. So let's do comma space, comma space, comma space, comma space, and then semicolon. All right, so the first one is age. So I'm going to copy and drag that up. Second one is living location. Copy, drag. Pet type. Copy, drag. And rate. Copy, drag. And then the last one is going to be my human years. Copy, drag. Excellent. All right, so that's all done. Now I have in here, I have my assumptions. And for this, all I need is the var space in front of each one. So I'll hold down my control key and copy, drag it down. Again, again, and again. Okay, the only thing I have to do now is just add semicolons, and I can type that in without making too many errors. And that's done. Okay, then my next step is my input, so I'll put 2 slashes. Notice we didn't put input in front of those. Sorry, should have, but I didn't. But it saves me some time, so good. All right, so that's going to be equal to my prompt when I ask this question, semicolon. And again, I go to my flowchart to get the prompt. And that's for my age, and I just copy this. And then go back to my code. Once I copy it over, I really don't even need my human algorithm anymore. Everything is on the page, right? And what is your age? And I'm going to give it a default of 10 because that's my test. All right, and then now for my next one, I'm going to do some copying and pasting. So I'm going to select space equals prompt, bring it down, and I'm going to do it again for down here. And then close parentheses, semicolon, and drag it down, and drag it down. All right, so those are all set. Just have to put something in it. So again, I'll go back to my flowchart, living location, make sure I drag up the bottom down to get the entire thing, because I want the entire prompt. And I'll copy it, and I'll go back to my code, paste it in, and what would be my, let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Come on. Got the wrong pain in the neck. There we go. So what's my default value? And I'm just going to do inside as my default value. Makes my life easier. That's how I'm going to test it. All right, so now we have our next one is our pet type. I'll go back to my flowchart, double click, cat or dog. That's all that was there, so I'll copy it. We don't have to make it an elaborate prompt. And then I'll bring back my code and paste it in. Okay, and for this one, I'll go ahead and start with cat. So I'll put cat as a default value. All right, so the next one is if, and what I'm going to do here is just put parentheses around pet type equals dog, because that's the argument we want to evaluate. And remember, in JavaScript, 2 equal signs. All right, if not, we're going to nail our foot to the floor and it'll always be true. It'll always be a dog if we don't put a second equal sign in there. Okay, we also need a brace, and this is start dog. And then we have a next decision, and that is, open and close parentheses for the argument that we wanted to evaluate. And again, we need 2 equal signs or it'll always be inside. Okay, and then I need to have a brace, start dog inside. Okay, now it's blue, so that means I didn't put my slashes to make it a comment. Okay, so I need a semicolon here, and then I need to enter, and then I need to close that. Stop dog inside. All right, then I have my else. I have a start brace, start dog outside, because that's what the else stands for, semicolon, and then stop dog outside. All right, so we got all those done. Now, before I work on this else, though, I started my dog. I need to stop my dog. So that means I need an extra brace here. This is the brace that students normally forget. Stop dog. All right, and then else start cat and parentheses. All right, this is getting to be a long video, so I'll have to kick it up. All right, so this is going to be start inside cat, whoops, and then semicolon, and then else, oops, and this is going to be start outside cat, stop inside cat, whoops, I'll make that Kate, and then semicolon, and then this last, whoops, and this is going to be stop outside cat. And this is where students tend to stop, but we started our cat, we haven't stopped our cat yet, so we have to come in out here and stop cat. So just make sure you always have a start and a stop for everything. If you review it real quick before you run your code, you'll save yourself some aggravation over it not running right. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this up. This is my calculation, semicolon. Then I have my output, 2 slashes. And then for my human years, I have document, oops, dot right, oops, this is getting long, and semicolon. And then for my flowchart, I'll go ahead and grab it. So I already have the end part of that, I just need the label. And there. And we're done. All right, so let's preview it and see if we got any errors. 10. Inside cat. It says calculations is undefined on 14. So let's see what that error is. And that's because 14, I didn't comment this, so I had to put 2 slashes in front. And now let's run it. 10, inside cat, and inside cat is 7 times 10. That works. and we are done.